Are you worried about growing old alone? Do you believe that having children guarantees you a safety net for your golden years? Well, I'm here to tell you that raising children to avoid loneliness is like buying a lottery ticket and expecting to win the jackpot. The odds are not in your favor. The belief that raising children ensures you won't be lonely or abandoned in your old age is a dangerous misconception. So, buckle up, get ready for some straight talk, and let's dive in. So, you think moving in with your kids will ensure a dignified old age? Dream on! Let me paint you a picture of what often happens when seniors move in with their children. You trade your independence for what feels like a cramped corner in someone else's life. You're no longer calling the shots in your own home, and your daily routine revolves around the whims and schedules of others. Living with your children can also strain your relationship with them. The parent-child dynamic shifts when you're under the same roof, often leading to misunderstandings, resentment, and a loss of boundaries. Remember, your golden years should be a time of joy, independence, and fulfillment, not a burden on your children or a source of family strife. Let's talk about karma, folks. This whole idea that the more you give, the more you get, is a fairy tale we tell ourselves to feel better about sacrifices. Sure, doing good deeds and being kind is important, but don't expect it to magically guarantee you a comfortable and cared-for old age. Sacrifices might move mountains, but don't expect them to move your son-in-law or daughter-in-law. You can pour your heart and soul into raising your children, showering them with love, support, and every opportunity imaginable, and they might still grow up to make choices that prioritize their own needs and desires over yours. Ingratitude is the name of the game, and it can sting, especially when you've dedicated your life to your family. Remember, you chose to have children, and with that choice came the responsibility of raising them to be independent, self-sufficient adults, not indentured servants, obligated to care for you in your old age. Let's talk about sons-in-law, those men who marry our daughters and become part of the family. Now, I'm not saying all sons-in-law are bad. Some are true gems, treating their in-laws with respect and kindness. But let's be real, folks. The son-in-law/in-law relationship can be a minefield. He's got his own set of parents, his own family history, and his own dynamics to navigate. The key to a healthy son-in-law/in-law relationship is respect, boundaries, and realistic expectations. Remember, he's married to your daughter, not you. Chapter 4. Money Talks. Let's talk about money, folks, because let's be honest, it plays a significant role in family dynamics, especially when it comes to aging parents. Here's a reality check. Your son-in-law's care is often motivated by your wallet. It's a harsh truth, but some family members see their aging parents as nothing more than a walking, talking ATM. They'll shower them with attention, affection, and promises of care, all the while eyeing their bank accounts and plotting their inheritance strategies. Protect yourself by managing your finances wisely, seeking legal advice when necessary, and being cautious about who you trust with your money. Remember, your financial security is your responsibility, not your children's. Maintain your independence, manage your own money, and make sure you have a plan in place for your financial future. Chapter 5. Mother-in-law versus daughter-in-law. Let's talk about the age-old rivalry, mother-in-law versus daughter-in-law. This is a dynamic fraught with tension, competition, and enough passive-aggressive behavior to fuel 1,000 reality TV shows. The key to navigating this delicate dance is communication, respect, and a healthy dose of boundaries. Mothers-in-law, remember that your son has chosen this woman to be his partner. Daughters-in-law, understand that your mother-in-law loves her son and wants what's best for him. Remember, you're both on the same team, and a little bit of empathy and understanding can go a long way in building a harmonious relationship. Let's talk about emotional investment, folks. Many parents believe that pouring love and affection into their children is like investing in a retirement plan. They think, I'll be there for them, so they'll be there for me when I'm old and grey. But here's the hard truth. You can't treat love and care like a transactional commodity. When you start keeping score, tallying up every act of kindness, and expecting a return on your emotional investment, you're setting yourself up for disappointment and resentment. Instead of approaching parenthood as a transactional exchange, focus on building genuine, loving relationships with your children based on mutual respect, empathy, and shared experiences. Be there for them because you want to be, not because you expect something in return. Let go of the notion that raising children is a guaranteed ticket to a comfortable and cared-for old age. Chapter 7. Mrs. Lou's Wisdom. Now let me tell you about Mrs. Lou, a woman I met recently who's got this whole aging thing figured out. Mrs. Lou is in her late 70s, sharp as a tack, and fiercely independent. She's got her own apartment, a busy social calendar filled with friends, hobbies, and volunteer work. She understands that her children have their own lives and families, and she respects their boundaries. Mrs. Lou is a shining example of how to age gracefully and independently. She's not relying on anyone to take care of her. She's taking charge of her own life and creating a future filled with purpose, connection, and joy. Chapter 8. Self-reliance. Mrs. Lou's story brings me to my next point, self-reliance. Folks, relying on yourself is the golden rule of aging, and frankly, of life in general. That means being financially responsible, planning for your future, and ensuring you have the resources to support yourself. Cultivate your interests, pursue your passions, and stay engaged with the world around you. Stay active, both physically and mentally, and challenge yourself to keep learning and growing. Remember, self-reliance isn't about being selfish or isolating yourself from others. It's about taking responsibility for your own well-being. Chapter 9. Lifelong Companions. Now, let's talk about companionship because, let's face it, nobody wants to go through life alone. And when it comes to companionship, I'm not just talking about friends and family. I'm talking about spouses, those partners in crime who've been there through thick and thin, through good times and bad. But here's the thing, maintaining a strong and healthy marriage takes work. It requires communication, compromise, and a willingness to grow together. So if you're fortunate enough to have a loving partner, cherish them, invest in your relationship, and make the most of every moment you have together. Chapter 10. Parental Bond. Now, I know I've been talking a lot about self-reliance and not putting all your eggs in one basket when it comes to relying on your children. But that doesn't mean you should neglect your relationship with your parents. They're the ones who gave you life, who nurtured you, who shaped you into the person you are today. They're a living link to your past, a source of wisdom and unconditional love. Visit them regularly, call them, listen to their stories, and cherish the time you have left with them. Remember, they won't be around forever, and the memories you create together will be priceless. Make the most of the time you have left with your parents, and remember that the greatest gift you can give them is your time, your love, and your appreciation. Chapter 11. Let's talk about raising children, but not in the way you might think. Instead, let's talk about raising children who are independent, self-sufficient, and capable of taking care of themselves. Raising kids to be independent and ambitious is crucial. Teach them the value of hard work, responsibility, and resilience. Encourage them to pursue their passions, to take risks, and to learn from their mistakes. Remember, the greatest gift you can give your children is not a life free of challenges, but the skills and resilience to navigate those challenges successfully. Chapter 12. Now let's talk about the importance of friendships, those special bonds we forge with people who are not related to us by blood, but by choice. Genuine friendships are a treasure. At 50, having a few close friends who share your interests and have been through life's ups and downs with you is a blessing. But here's the thing about friendships. They require effort. Make time for your friends, listen to them, be there for them when they need you, and don't take them for granted. So, if you're lucky enough to have a circle of close friends, cherish them, invest in those relationships, and make the most of every moment you have together. Chapter 13. So there you have it, folks. Prepare yourself for old age with a clear, pragmatic approach, and you'll find peace and fulfillment. Embrace your independence, nurture your relationships, and live each day to the fullest. Outro. Well, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Take care of yourselves, stay true to yourselves, and never stop believing in the power of human connection. Until next time, keep those heads held high and those hearts open to the possibilities.